According to a new survey by the Woodrow Wilson National Fellowship Foundation, 2 out of 3 college graduates in the United States think Karl Marx's quote, "From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs," was written by the Founding Fathers. Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto. That slogan that Marx wrote was supposed to convince people that government redistribution of wealth was the best way to go. He wrote that to sell communism to the people. But 2/3 of college graduates think John Adams, or Thomas Jefferson, or George Washington, or Benjamin Franklin wrote it. Dear God. According to the survey, 1 out of 3 college graduates can't name a single right protected by the First Amendment. But 10% think the First Amendment protects their right to own a pet. Only 53% know the first 10 amendments are even called the Bill of Rights. Only 35% of college graduates know the first 3 words of the Constitution, "We the people." 60% of college graduates can't name a single step necessary to ratify a constitutional amendment. Half of college graduates don't know how long term limits are for senators or for Congress members. 1 in 10 think Congress could outlaw atheism. 40% didn't know Congress has the power to declare war. More Americans can name the 3 Stooges than the 3 branches of government, and 10% think Judge Judy is serving on the Supreme Court. In other words, it's no wonder when a radical socialist like Bernie Sanders promises free college, people cheer instead of asking, is college really educating people? This survey says no. It's actually embarrassing to read the numbers of these polls and realize that the majority of people we talk to every day don't know basic civics. Less than 100 years after the greatest generation saved the world from the Nazis, 30 years after Reagan saved the world from socialism, 243 years after the first Americans fought and died to give us freedom from the tyrant King George, people these days don't even care what freedoms we have. People just take our liberty for granted. That is not okay. It is your responsibility to learn about our Constitution, our Declaration, our Founding Fathers, our liberty, our system of self-government. If not for yourself, then do it for your children and your grandchildren so that you actually have a free country to pass on to them. We sit here and we have the freedom to post anything we want on social media. I can say anything I want on the show. We can criticize our government as much as we want. Why? Because of our First Amendment right to free speech and freedom of the press. Apparently, the majority of college graduates don't even know this. We can afford cable TV and internet and iPhones and cars and designer clothing and travel and food because we rejected the communism of Karl Marx. Apparently, the majority of college graduates don't know this. Our rights, our constitutional rights, are protected because we have a system of checks and balances, 3 co-equal branches of government instead of a king or a dictator. Apparently, the majority of college graduates don't know this. Our Founding Fathers, they recognize that our rights aren't given to us by the government, like Marx suggests, but rather we are inherently endowed with certain rights that cannot be violated by government. In fact, it's government's job to protect our inherent rights. If we don't learn this, if we don't appreciate this, if we don't fight to keep protecting our rights against people who want to take them away, then the surveys of the next generation will be even more tragic. Maybe 10% of our generation then will even remember back when we were free. Let's not let that happen. And that's my final point.